Fortnite Competitive is one of those things that is talked about, but isn't necessarily celebrated the way other esports are. Let's change that. You may be wondering what sparked this conversation this week, and to be honest, it's the Esports Awards. Looking at the different categories and seeing incredible talent and players and coaches from the Fortnite scene not get recognized inspired me to make this video encouraging us to change the narrative. For years, Fortnite has been known as the esports for kids and toxic communities alike. Well, hopefully, this video will give some ideas on how to break that perspective and hopefully shift us in the direction of getting celebrated in award shows like the Esports Awards. So let's start off by talking about how to change the perspective. Now, this is going to be the most difficult part, as changing the perspective and changing the minds of people that are already set in their ways and set in their thoughts on what Fortnite is as a competitive esport is going to be tough. However, all of us together have an opportunity to change this perspective. It's just going to take a little work from everybody. Number one, we got to find ways to break that toxic notion that it is just for kids or that the esport is full of toxic players. At one point in time, this may have been true. I feel like the community has grown quite a bit in the recent years, so I don't necessarily think that's the perspective anymore. So when it comes to having this conversation about Fortnite as an esport, we need to be more positive overall. Now, I'm not saying don't give constructive criticism about the game's state or siphon or any of those topics, but we need to do it more constructively in a way that doesn't label us as toxic or just innately negative. So number one definitely has to be learning how to be constructive with the criticism that we have for the game. Another big piece of changing the perspective is, of course, finding ways to celebrate the players. SPG does a really good job of this with the competitive awards in our space specifically, but we need to find other ways to do this. Now, this kind of leads into my next topic, which is telling stories. I know I harp on pro players to create content and do more, and for some, it's just not achievable. However, that's on us content creators outside of the pro player status to step in and create content about the players. There are so many examples of content creators stepping up, like Oceantics, Reese Hub, We Clutch Up, that have created great story-driven content to tell a different side of the players. We as a community need to do more of that so that people outside of our community can learn that Fortnite is more than just a few kids that are toxic playing the game. Now, it's not just about telling the story of the players, but also the coaches, the management staff, the casters, the commentators, hosts, everybody that is involved in the scene. We need to get their stories told, and finding creative ways to do that is going to be massive. So if you're a pro player, creator, coach, be open to the idea of hopping on a podcast or hopping on some kind of different content piece that helps celebrate you. You'll definitely benefit from it, and of course, the community will benefit as a whole because we're getting to tell more stories through these podcasts and other types of content. Now, on top of having other people tell our stories, we also need to be better about telling our own stories too. So if we aren't having podcasts reach out to us or other content creators talking about our names, we need to make our names known. Step out of our comfort zone and create content that celebrates us as an individual. A lot of pro players out there have some incredible stories. The story of Stormy Wright is a perfect example. All the hardship he went through last year, the strides he made in his competitive career at the same time. I mean, that is a beautiful story that I wish was told, especially in the time frame that we were experiencing last year. Another great example of an incredible story is, of course, the team Pamsu and Fatch. Would love to see more content circled around that duo, how long they've been together, the strides that they've made as a duo, what they've done to succeed in the space, and more. But that's just a few examples of stories I would love to see. We need to be better as a community about telling stories about the players around us, the creators around us, and so on, but also telling our own story. Now, this is just a piece of it when it comes down to it, because there's a lot that it's going to take to change the minds of people outside the space. And of course, the next one is going to be an interesting one. It's going to be encouraging new players who step into the game. Now, you may be saying, Panda, like, we already do that. Fortnite is the most open ecosystem to play the game. You can step in and enjoy and learn the game. And yes, that is all true. But as a pro player, as a coach, as a creator, we need to be more active in creating supplemental content that helps the new player evolve. Now, I'm not saying tell all your secrets, but do more to tell and teach the new community coming up and help them on what they need to do. Again, don't give all the secrets out. I'm not saying that, but definitely find ways to create content that helps the new generation of players step into the light. A good example of this is the Fortnite coaching site that came out not too long ago with Queasy. I believe Arab was helping support that, Miro. That's a good example of things that you can do, and you can monetize it. So it's not just a create content with no gain for you. People will pay to get into the heads of a lot of these pros. You just have to work together to create the content that is exciting to the player outside there that is new. The last piece of the puzzle is going to be the culmination of all of this combined, and that is going to be building. Us as a community, we need to build each other up and create and do things that support the overall ecosystem of Fortnite. Now, I've personally been in calls with people outside the Fortnite space, sponsors, and more, that when I say, oh, I want to create a Fortnite event, or I want to do something to support the Fortnite community, I get more of this, well, isn't this space toxic? Is this not brand safe for us? Or is there going to be issues with the event because players tend to cause issues during the events? These are all conversations I've had, by the way. We as a community obviously need to break that notion, and we need to be better and build together so that we can create a competitive ecosystem that is not only great for us to play, which obviously that's a totally different conversation, but also build on a community that people want to buy into. Valorant players, Call of Duty players, sponsors, big award shows. We need to work towards and build towards a community that is known as one that is worth investing in. Now, I know it's going to be tough, and I know not everybody's going to listen to this message and be on board with investing in their time and resources into creating content and doing other things, and I get it. Who am I to tell you to go out there and do what it is I'm telling you to do? But as someone that has worked in businesses and understood the branding and culture of those different companies for years, is work together and tell stories and come together as a group, united as one, to create something that is truly special in all of esports. With the help of all of you out there, and hopefully some open-minded people outside of our community, we can create some incredible things in 2024 and beyond. I'm personally working on some incredible things for the scene in 2024, and if everything goes to plan, we can have a massive year for the Fortnite competitive scene. It all starts with you though, the community. Let's show everyone that the Fortnite community is not one to ignore.